And we're back. Good afternoon. I'm Kathy Young. I'm the Executive Director of the New York State Center of Excellence for Food and Agriculture at Cornell Agritech. So it's quite a mouthful, and that's why we affectionately call it the COE for short. The COE shares the Grow New York program's goals of growing an enduring food and agriculture innovation cluster in New York State. And I personally share that goal. Growing up on a dairy and grains farm in Livingston County, serving as a state legislator, chairing the New York State Senate's Finance and Agriculture Committees and New York State's Rural Resources Commission, I understand all too well the challenges faced by people working in agriculture and food production. And in my role as the executive director of the COE, I'm honored to work in service of New York's food and farming sector, leveraging Cornell's institutional resources and expertise to cultivate innovation, economic growth, and job creation. The COE helps nurture the agri-food system in New York State by pushing entrepreneurs and startups to launch their businesses in New York, pulling companies into the state by connecting them with the innovation, resources, and economic development partners, and growing existing food, beverage, and agriculture-related companies from across New York State through business mentoring, technical assistance, and other resources they need to succeed and thrive. In this year's symposium, we are demonstrating how the Grow New York effect has drawn support for the work on fostering a climate-smart bioeconomy in upstate New York and a strong and resilient food system in the Northeast. Our next series of presentations is focused on dairy innovation that's across the region and changing consumer preference for dairy products. Dairy is so important in New York, and we are national leaders in value-add dairy, so this is a topic that is extremely relevant. First up, we will have pitches from 3 Northeastern Dairy Product Innovation Competition winners that was held in Stocking Hall on the main campus in Ithaca earlier this year. The Northeastern Dairy Product Innovation Competition launched this past year, as I said, with generous funding from USDA's Northeast Dairy Business Innovation Center. The goal is to create value-add pathways for dairy farmers and to increase the use of milk produced in the Northeast. The program welcomed 10 dairy innovators to receive $20,000 in participant support, technical assistance, and business incubation services, including product prototyping, food safety, and compliance training, and to help bring products to market. The 10 entrepreneurs pitched their businesses to a panel of judges during the summer's culminating event, and 3 were chosen as winners and awarded an additional $55,000 to move their business forward. Today, we will hear pitches from 3 of those winners. So, we are now going to begin. I have to come over here to grab the clicker, but I am very pleased to introduce our first company, and that's lu.lu. Coming to us from Vermont, lu.lu Ice Cream creates a one-of-a-kind goat milk gelato. Presenting for the startup today is Laura Mack. Please give a warm welcome to Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go.
Hi, my name is Laura Mack. I'm the founder and ice cream maven at lu.lu Ice Cream. lu.lu is a word in the dictionary that means something outstanding and remarkable. And trust me, we are a lu.lu. We are a small batch artisan ice cream and gelato company obsessed with making it from scratch using only the best local ingredients. We call it our farm to spoon mission, and we swear you can taste the difference. We've set ourselves apart through our remarkable creations, including Garden Basil that Food Network rated the best ice cream in the state of Vermont. Our success and national recognition wouldn't be possible without our exceptional team. All are devoted to our mission. Our Farm to Spoon mission is not just a tagline, it's a way of life. We pride ourselves on sourcing all our core ingredients locally. Our commitment to supporting local agriculture not only guarantees unparalleled flavors for us, but also cultivates a sustainable ecosystem directly benefiting our farm partners. Every batch of ice cream and gelato is crafted in-house, 100% from scratch, even pasteurizing. No base mixes, preservatives, or shortcuts. We're not just in business, we are a thriving force. Lulu started in a tiny but adorable storefront, and from there we've built a solid foundation, which enabled us to confidently develop strong distribution channels, including regional-based e-commerce. What sets us apart is not the products we offer, but the shared ethos. Our fans actively embrace our Farm to Spoon mission, making us a compelling presence in the market. We're not merely a brand, we are a movement, connecting people through our commitment to quality and sustainability. Innovation is in our DNA. We constantly seek new ways to partner with farms and create new and unique flavors. For example, our recent launch of our 100% lactose-free goat milk gelato won the Cornell University Northeastern Dairy Innovation Competition. It's a deliciously creamy creation that exemplifies our dedication to Farm to Spoon and allows us to diversify our farm partners. Our continuing innovation propels our growth. And believe me, our growth plans are nothing short of monumental. A testament to this growth is the recent grant award from the Northeast Dairy Business Innovation Center. This investment embraces our expansion visions and allows us to bring it to reality, enabling us to produce 5 times the amount of pints in our current production time, meeting growing demand and spending even more time on innovation. So, join us on this journey and be part of a thriving business committed to quality, innovation, and a mission that's more than just a scoop, it's a Lulu. Thank you.
Thank you, Lulu. We really are excited about your business.
Yeah, and make sure to try some samples out there.
Even better, right? So, next up, we have Terra Firma Farm. Terra Firma produces ready-to-use premium ice cream base and is located in Connecticut. Presenting today is Bree Cassidy. Hi, Bree.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And there's your clicker.
Thank you. All right, let's see if we can get this. Hi, my name is Bree Cassidy, and I'm a first-generation female farmer and agricultural entrepreneur. And just like De La Val, we live milk. I found my calling while studying dairy sciences and milking cows in the student-run dairy herd at the University of Vermont. I returned to Connecticut and started Terra Firma Farm. And for the last 19 years, I've been building a direct-to-consumer dairy and a regionally recognized brand. We have an on-farm certified and FDA-licensed pasteurizing and bottling plant for our dairy herd. Direct-to-consumer, we sell pasteurized whole cream line milk, flavored milks like chocolate and coffee, and other fun flavors like maple and caramel, orange cream, and white chocolate peppermint. Seasonally, we make eggnog from scratch. Additionally, we have plain vanilla and fruit on the bottom yogurts. At the end of the day, my passion is in dairy farming. Keeping dairy farms thriving is deep in my heart. Dairy farmers today need a niche to move their milk in order to survive. Every decision we make is based around the question, how can we use more milk? It's why dairy companies use new fun bottles or market novel ideas around dairy consumption. There's just way too much milk being made. The Dairy Innovation Competition helped us create a new product for our lineup and an additional channel for our milk. One of the main reasons for making homemade ice cream is that unbeatable, freshly frozen, just-made taste. Ice cream is only as good as the ingredients we use to make it. However, prepping ingredients, cooking the custard, and chilling the mixture overnight can turn making homemade ice cream into a long, messy endeavor. Your Turn to Turn is a 19% butterfat, ready-to-use super premium ice cream base that allows anyone and everyone to choose their own items to make unique, inventive ice cream flavors in their home ice cream machine. We have taken the guesswork and hard work out of at-home ice cream making. Our clean label recipe is 94% dairy using cream, milk, egg yolks, and sugar. The secret in our recipe is the development of a cream to milk ratio where most of our butterfat comes from the cream and the milk is just for the volume. This makes Your Turn to Turn not only an additional product in our dairy lineup, but also a new channel for the use of skim milk, which is usually an underutilized dairy product often discarded. So, Your Turn to Turn is our new product, which is a delicious homemade ice cream simplified.
Great job, Bree. Thank you so much for traveling all this way.
Oh,
we really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck. And our final dairy pitch of the day will come from Oakfield Corners Cheese, LLC. Oakfield creates Mexican-style cheese right here in New York State. Presenting for Oakfield today is Alicia Lamb and Molly Moffett. Welcome.
Thank you.
Is it just you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Hi, I'm Molly Moffett, the Cheese Operations Manager. Pictured below is Jonathan and Alicia Lamb, the owners of Oakfield Corners Dairy. As a 12th generation U.S. family farm, Lamb Farms and Oakfield Corners Dairy has been based in Oakfield, New York since 1966, and they milk 10,500 cows on 4 farms. Our goal is to remain a family dairy farm while encouraging strategic business growth and diversity to remain viable for future generations. As we enter the consumer foods arena, we strive to create dairy products that are unique and desirable in the marketplace. Our discovery phase led us to the realization that fresh and available Mexican-style cheeses are not readily available to our Hispanic friends and neighbors. Although New York State annually produces 843 million pounds of cheese in hundreds of facilities, there are less than 5 Mexican cheese processors, all in New York City. Only 1 with measurable production. Our go-to-market plan to become more clear since the summer. The queso fresco has been well received in Hispanic and local communities alike. We are working with a cheese recipe consultant to design our Oaxaca and Chihuahua varieties, with goals to have them finalized in December of 2023. We're building a processing plant on farm. We have hired a New York-based cheese consultant with goals for completion in late January and end of February 2024. Eden Valley Creamery is South Dayton, New York, is our co-manufacturer for our queso fresco in short term. Agency 29, based in Rochester, is assisting with our consumer packaged goods marketing. Our brand and visual strategies are now complete, with final labeling to be wrapped up in late December, early January of 24. At that point, we'll focus on a more aggressive brand campaign online and securing larger distribution agreements. We have product interest with local Mexican restaurants, grocers, and caterers. Additionally, we are in process of setting up an on-farm stand to help meet community demand. It has been amazing to be involved with the transformation and progress of our Oakfield Corners cheese business since the summer. We are calling our product line Oakfield Artisanal to capture not only our current cheese, but other value-added foods in the future. The simple idea of making fresh Mexican-style cheeses that are in demand and relatively unavailable propelled us as one of the 3 winners in the Northeast Dairy Production Innovation Competition 3 months ago. The mentors of the competition helped focus on our business strategy, while funding increased the speed and reduction in the cost of our business development. Thank you to the organizers of the Northeast Dairy Production Innovation Competition, the supporters in our industry and community, and seeing the vision come to life. We look forward to seeing you in stores soon.
Thank you, Oakfield Corners, and to all the Dairy Innovation Competition winners for their thoughtful pitches. Great job, and thank you for the clicker back. So next, we will hear a presentation from Judy Keenan and Marla Burke from Dairy Management, Inc. on growing dairy's health and wellness innovation through science, technology, and product innovation. Please help me in welcoming both Judy and Marla.
Great. I love hearing all those dairy presentations. That's awesome.
Sorry, I didn't know it was virtual.
Okay. So I'm Marla Burke, and this is Judy Keenan. Today we're going to share with you a project that we just completed that identifies where the strongest health and wellness opportunities are for consumers in general and for dairy specifically. So if you go to the next slide. Okay. So we work for Dairy Management, which is a nonprofit organization. It's funded by our 37,000 dairy farm families across the U.S. Our whole goal is to drive sales and trust in dairy, and we have expertise in all these different areas, and we're happy to help any dairy entrepreneur who is interested in innovating with dairy. So if you go to the next slide. Okay, so just taking a look at the agenda for sharing this health and wellness work, we're going to start by taking you through our research objectives, a very high-level top line of our key learnings, because we have a limited time here, but if you're interested in further learnings, please reach out, and we'll also take you through some key implications. So the next slide. Okay, so our objective for this research was to get a deep understanding of what, when, where, and how consumers are using food and beverages to address their health and wellness needs. This then showed us where the current products were maybe falling a little bit short and where dairy really had the best and brightest opportunities to come in and be strong. Next slide. So we worked with an organization called ZS, and ZS, for those of you who don't know who they are, they're one of the leaders in the health and wellness research. They've been around for a few decades, and they really stand out here. We reviewed hundreds of industry reports, product claims, patents, CDC projections, pharmaceutical projections, and got an overall real good look at what the health and wellness landscape was. And then we completed a national online survey of over 12,000 consumers. Those of you that are in consumer research know that that's a lot of consumers. So it was a really good, thorough list. We got into demographics. We could really tease that apart. And we use that to get a deep understanding of how these consumers are using food and beverages to address their health and wellness concerns and needs, and what the role of dairy was in that. Next slide. Yeah, so we gained a lot of great learnings, and Judy is going to take you through the details on a high level of what we learned. Judy?
Oh, thank you, Marla. So this research resulted, if you could go to the next slide. This research resulted in 9 demand moments for health and wellness products. So what is a demand moment? A demand moment is really just a food or beverage occasion based on when, where, and why consumers are choosing specific foods and beverages. The idea is to understand how consumers are making their decisions for both functional and emotional standpoints, and learning this helps us to create new dairy-based products that meet their needs. These demand moments are listed here in order by size, but they are all in the billions of dollars. As you can see here, the primary concern for each demand moment is very intuitive. For example, the primary concern for fill up fuel is solving your hunger until your next meal. Today, we're going to focus and provide a top-line overview of 4 prioritized areas. But feel free, as Marla had mentioned, to contact us for more information and more learnings on these areas or the other demand occasions. So how did we prioritize 4 occasions? On the next slide, you can see that we didn't just consider the size of each demand moment, but also the growth potential, consumer dissatisfaction with existing options, and dairy's ability to deliver relevant solutions. The 4 occasions that rose to the top are Grow and Perform, Healthy Heart and Weight, System Supercharge, and Mental and Emotional Health and Wellness. Next slide, please. I'm now going to take you through the 4 prioritized occasions at a very high level, again, because of limited time. We'll start on the next slide with Grow and Perform, which focuses on the right foods and beverages to fuel your workouts and help you recover faster so you can actually get the benefits that you're putting in the work to achieve. This occasion is very large at $59 billion, which includes foods and beverages, as well as other products that provide the benefits that consumers are seeking, such as supplements and over-the-counter medications like calcium or vitamin D pills. 41% of consumers are not satisfied with how their current foods and beverages deliver against the Grow and Perform benefits that they are seeking. And these prioritized benefits are physical and athletic performance, so things like helping to build muscle and promoting growth and development, also improving athletic performance and helping muscles recover. And then the other prioritized benefit is bone health, so keeping bones strong. Since nutritional value is very important for this occasion, it's not surprising that the top foods consumed to address their goals and that over-index for this occasion are milk, whole eggs, protein or meal replacement bars, ready-to-drink nutritional shakes, and rice. Milk actually delivers these benefits better than any other food or drink, specifically for helping build muscle, promoting growth and development, and keeping bones strong. Good Sport is a really cool product example for Grow and Perform. It's a sports beverage with ultra-filtered, deproteinized milk as the primary ingredient, yet it's still a clear beverage. It has 3 times the electrolytes and 33% less sugar than traditional sports drinks. On the next slide is Healthy Heart and Weight, which is about finding foods and beverages to help reach your weight goals so you can live a long, happy life. This is another huge occasion at $55 billion and has satisfaction or dissatisfaction with current food and beverage offerings at 44%. The prioritized benefit is focused around heart health, so improving your heart health, helping unclog arteries, and reducing your risk of heart disease. Foods that are low in sodium and low in saturated fats are very important for this occasion. So the top foods consumed that over-index for this occasion are vegetables, both fresh vegetables and leafy vegetables, also fresh fruits, nuts, and yogurt. As a product example, Marigold HL from Singapore is a dark chocolate milk that contains plant sterols, which have been shown to lower blood cholesterol. On the next slide, we have System Supercharge, which focuses on managing gut health to save your body, which really goes through a lot every day, and so it saves your body from future ailments. At $26 billion, this segment is also large, and consumer dissatisfaction with existing foods and beverages is 46%. Improving digestive issues is the top benefit. So things like improving your gut health, keeping regular, preventing indigestion, and preventing bloating. And yogurt is one of the top foods consumed to achieve this benefit, along with vegetables, fruits, and eggs. Proasis is a pretty cool product example. You get to enjoy delicious ice cream, but also get the gut health benefits from live probiotics. And our last occasion on the next slide is Mental and Emotional Health and Wellness, which is all about trying to be focused, productive, and calm so you can be your best self. This is another large occasion at $15 billion and is a huge growth area given the mental health crisis that our country is in. The prioritized benefits are cognition, so improving cognitive ability, increasing focus, and helping improve memory, and also mindfulness, reducing stress and anxiety and increasing calmness. The top foods that over-index for this occasion are fruits, vegetables, eggs, nuts, and milk. Superfrau is a great product on many fronts. Besides being made with upcycled liquid whey, which provides a great natural energy boost, it's packed with B12 vitamins for better mood, better focus, and better vibe. So now on the next slide, I'm going to turn it back over to Marla to review implications and next steps.
Hi. So where do we go from here? You saw the top 4 spaces that we're really interested in. We know that dairy has a great opportunity in. And how do we even prioritize within those? Well, we know that Grow and Perform is a great place to start because there's already a ton of science supporting physical performance and bone health and dairy's ability to help there. But also System Supercharge, healthy heart and weight, and mental and emotional health and wellness. There's a lot of science behind that, and dairy's linked to helping there. But we want to work on that more. We want even more science to make even more claims.
Next slide, please.
Sorry, if you go to the next slide. Yeah, and then finally, across the bottom, you see that there's a lot of different opportunities that we've investigated, a lot of different health and wellness opportunities. So if you see one that you're particularly interested in or you're working on, please contact us. We have a lot of information in any of these areas that we can help you with. Then if you go to the next slide. And we also have a dairy resource tool, a digital resource tool that we put together. This takes you through the innovation process step by step. It outlines the process, gives you a lot of tricks to get through certain issues that you might have or you might come across. And it also gives you over 250 resources that are vetted in the dairy industry, things from what co-manufacturers should I use? Where would I go for a patent attorney? Who would be a great resource for regulatory? It's all here. It's free to you. And if you just get on the innovatewithdairy.com to register, we will let you in. So that's it. If you go to the next slide, this is my contact information. Next slide, my contact information. So please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final portion of the Dairy Innovation Spotlight is the panel, Seeding Dairy Innovation Through Entrepreneurship. We will be learning about how fresh ideas and dynamic startups can converge with the rich tradition of dairy farming in the pursuit of producing high-quality food and drink that meet the changing consumer preferences. Our very own Dr. Julie Goddard will moderate. Please help me in welcoming Julie and the panelists to the stage. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Kathy. The dairy industry, fueled by more than 3,200 dairy farms across the state, is a major economic force in a state. And innovation in this space is key to maintaining and sustaining sustainability and the growth of this innovative ecosystem. So please join me today in a conversation with some of the dairy innovators that are seated with me to talk about successes, opportunities, and maybe surprises in their journey as dairy innovators. So let's start with some brief introductions. As Kathy mentioned, I'm Julie Goddard. I'm a professor at Cornell University in the Department of Food Science. Nick?
Hi, I'm Nick Adamson. I'm the Chief Technical Officer at Fairlife.
Hi, I'm Kara Idle. I'm an owner-operator of Naturally Golden Family Farms in Pennsylvania.
Hi there, I'm Neil Sanford, Head of Product Innovation at Chobani.
Awesome. So let's start with a little bit about career trajectories. I think that personal career trajectories are fascinating, and I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of the journey that got you onto this stage. Was there a particular experience or training opportunity that paved the way for you to be sitting here with us today in your role? Jump in at any time. But you are sitting right next to me, Nick, unfortunately for you.
So I didn't grow up on a dairy farm, sorry about that. But in Australia, I was doing a chem eng degree and had to do a 6-month research project as the final year. And the School of Dental Science had worked out why milk was good for your teeth. And it wasn't just a tale, it was real science. So I got involved in trying to understand that and scale it up as a chemical engineer. They were making nanograms in the lab, and then I spent a 4-year PhD carrying on with that, and then it just rolled on from there.
Cool. Kara?
Mine is drastically different. I did grow up on a dairy farm, a 500-acre, about 200-cow farm in western Pennsylvania, where my love for the dairy cow began, specifically with the Guernsey, which is very odd. It's one of the 7 major breeds, but notably one of the smallest. And I went to Penn State and majored in animal science, where I met my husband, who was a food scientist, and his family had a processing facility. And we kind of put our 2 family businesses together and started processing milk for a co-op that we formed for 2 family farms together. So I always thought that I would be milking cows growing up, but things have definitely changed, and I'm more in the processing and marketing realm. But we entered in the products competition that you heard. Those 3 other pitches were the winners for, and we entered that, and it's definitely just opened up a lot of new experiences for us, and has really helped us grow and see different things out there. So that's how I'm here today.
And in fact, just to interject, if you've enjoyed any of the coffee at the coffee stations, you want to give a little pitch. You've got the stage, for heaven's sakes, and a mic.
Shameless plug, yes. Our coffee creamer was the product that we pitched for the contest. We have 3 different flavors, and yesterday and today you have our sweet cream, which is available at all the coffee stations. So we really hope you enjoy that, to have a fresh dairy creamer option.
Yeah, all 3 companies are fighting big oil in the creamer business, so we have that in common.
Nice.
I grew up in Warwick, New York, I guess when you're upstate, it might as well be Harlem. When you're in New York City, it's upstate, but Hudson Valley. And grew up around dairy farming. My father had a baking company called Dutch Mill Baking Company. It was the donuts with the blue box and the windmill, if you happen to remember. So grew up around food and was always interested in food, and got excited about yogurt in maybe 2001 after going to see a friend in Eastern Europe, and just happened to eat some Polish yogurt and was blown away of kind of having the first real yogurt of my life. Came back yogurt crazed. My family was concerned about my yogurt passion, and joined a competition like this, and we actually got a big grant from Empire State Development at the time. And we were going to stand up a yogurt plant in Goshen, New York. It fell through, and they said, okay, we're not giving you the money anymore. But there's this crazy Turkish guy upstate talking about yogurt too. You should go meet him. And I drove up and banged on the door of a beat-up old factory in South Edmonston, New York, and it was Hamdi Ulukaya. And we hit it off talking yogurt. I went back to grad school at NYU and was still yogurt crazy, and I still remember going into Fairway in Harlem and seeing Faye was coming up at the time, and Faye was a very special yogurt product in that time. And there was Chobani. And I remember trying it and turning the cup around, and it said South Edmonston, New York. I was like, that's that crazy Turk. And drove back up a week later and quit my job the next day, and that was 13 years ago, and
Wow.
been in yogurt with Hamdi and Chobani ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, this is why I love hearing about odd career trajectories. So we heard from some really cool innovators in elementary, middle, and high school at lunch. So stay curious, right? Keep that passion.
Absolutely,
You never
yeah.
know where that's going to land you one day.
Explore.
Right, yeah, explore. So let's continue with a little Dairy Innovator React segment. Did anything surprise you in the report from Dairy Management Inc., DMI, around consumer interests in dairy? Or maybe something resonated with you in something you've been thinking about?
I'm always surprised. We've done a lot of consumer work as we've gotten more sophisticated. In the early days, we did no consumer work for 5 years. As we talk to consumers about milk, we get reactions of, it's just wholesome. They can't really articulate protein or something about bone health. It's still very low understanding of milk. We're light years away from understanding there's whey and casein proteins, and they do different things. One's fast energy, one's slow. Zero knowledge of anything like that. I'm surprised all this money that goes into this industry, how little knowledge the consumer can kind of articulate back. It's very basic. Just milk is wholesome, you get kind of thing. So it's always interesting. We were talking backstage. We see these reports, and it is hard, though, to go from that to where the consumer is still quite a disconnect still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't change the fact you've got to really understand your consumer.
Yeah, understanding the consumer.
Like why emotional, by economics,
Yeah.
what they know, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nick, sticking with you. You've worked in the dairy space across the globe. Can you give a personal account on how dairy consumption and consumer interests in new products varies around the world? What can we learn from the international dairy consumer?
Yeah, I think it's like what Neil just said then. They're very different. One thing I can tell you is no matter where you go in the world, you can't sell science. And we've learnt that the hard way in Fairlife. You have to have a pitch that isn't about casein or whey or whatever. You know, it just doesn't work. So just really digging into who's buying and why they're buying. But I have noticed, and I probably don't have any market research to prove this, but I have noticed that I used to sell a lot of products to Japan. If I was going to try and sell something more fractionated protein, I would go to Japan first, because just intrinsically their culture is longevity, understanding of at least valuing and having a curiosity about nutrients and how they work. Whereas in Australia, for example, forget about it, you know. And maybe it's the activities, does it hydrate me, does it, you know? Even the protein story after a workout is still only just gaining traction. I think there's cultural differences. So I've noticed in the States, it's very much about being more part of a movement or a group, an identity group. Whereas in Europe, I think it's less so that it's a bit more cynical and so yeah, very, very different things no matter where you go, but just understanding what's driving. One last thing I'd say, we launched Fairlife in China, and we're all about making great tasting milk that lasts 120 days, 365 days. That's seen in China as, oh no, that's poor. They've lived on, you know, reconstituted UHT milk forever. So as a sign of wealth, you go up the value chain and buy milk that's very fresh, right. And they want it within 3 days. So right. It was like, ooh, hold on a minute, that wasn't in our, you know.
Yeah. So flavor and quality aside, it's a perception.
It's a perception of you know, I can afford this, and it's a sign of.
Or in France, it's so funny. France of all places, you know, where the place where you buy eggs and there's still feathers on them and they're unrefrigerated and unwashed, gorgeous, of course. Milk is all aseptic. It's the funniest thing, and you try to do an aseptic milk here in the U.S., shelf stable, I should say. Yeah. People are freaked out by it. Although, I mean, so many products in the U.S. are aseptic and shelf stable, yet in the refrigerated chain to get over that cultural thing. But it's pure culture, and you know, France is so funny. I always laugh where they're drinking shelf stable milk. Yeah. The foodies of all foodies.
Yeah. It even tastes bad.
Yeah. I remember that from my short stint in the industry. I worked at Kraft Foods, and I remember when we were doing the yogurt and, the pudding line. It's like, why on earth would you pay for aseptic filling and then put it in the refrigerator? It's like, well, if you can sell it to a different market or a different, it's important. Cool. I should mention, too, that there is an opportunity, and we'll try to save some time at the end, for questions from the audience. And I believe we have some folks online. So I'm not sure who's moderating that, but throw a rock or something at me. Oh, awesome, I see your hand. That's good. So just let me know if you've got any questions that you want to contribute to the panel. So each of your organizations, at different scale, of course, which is interesting, right? Especially in a context like this where we've got innovation of all different scales across industries. You've each launched new dairy products recently. Tell me a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes in bringing a new product to market. Maybe willingness to pay curiosities or sourcing of ingredients, or I don't know. Tell me a little bit about behind the scenes. We, the consumers, we see the finished good and the new exciting products on the shelf. Share us a little bit of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. Want me to go?
I can go first, definitely on the smallest.
We'll go small to big. You go left. Yeah.
Smallest scale here. Family Farms is in our name. We're a 2-farm co-op. Where we have a cumulative of probably about 200 cows producing the milk for our products. And so it looks a lot different for us as it does for these two guys. But when we're looking at a different product, I have the ability to go to my husband and his team and say, I really like this. What are we doing with our extra cream? Maybe we could do something like this to complement our product line. So we come up with an idea, and then we have a family dinner, and everybody tries it. If you made it through the dinner or you're asking for more, then it's something that we continue to work on or go with some different tweaks. But we also have the ability, we have a small on-farm store at one of our farms, and we put a product out to some of our customers, and we say, hey, take this home, give it a try, and tell us what you think. Give us some ideas. Do you like the packaging? Do you like the flavor? So things are a little bit more just throwing it out there and see if they like the idea, if it's something that we can work with in terms of price and the ingredients that we have. We did work with a marketing group to identify some consumers for us, but we're at such a small scale that really the community and our family has a big impact on what we produce. So it's really small scale for us at the dinner table and at the farm, and see what people enjoy.
Yeah, for us at Chobani, it's funny, we're trying to hold on to a lot of that. It's still us just tasting, at some level. There's a little more validation to make sure we're not insane, because the misses are bigger, and we've had plenty of them. But in the end, we want to make it until we love it, absolutely love it. We are still giving it to our kids. Hamdi, the founder, is taking it home. I'm giving it to my kids. We want it until we absolutely love it. We won't launch it until we want to eat it. We're $2 billion company now, but it's still the same group of people doing it, where it was just us at Hamdi's apartment at one point. Hey, why don't we have a pineapple on the bottom? No one's ever done pineapple yogurt before. Hey, Neil, go get some fruit. Let's try it. That's how we got to $1 billion, just literally like you're doing it. These days, the risks are bigger. It's nationwide. These products go to 30,000 touch points in a 3-day period. You got Kroger, Target, Walmart, Ahold, these huge retailers that you pay probably $1 million an item to get on the shelf in slotting, modern blackmail.
Yeah.
So it better work. So there's a little more validating, but these days validating with consumers is so much easier than it was even 10 years ago. Like at the fingertips of every entrepreneur is an ability to do quite a quantitative gut check. And we kind of use it as a red flag or kind of disaster check, not really fine tuning, okay, they want exactly this or like this. We don't do that with the consumer, but we make sure that the messaging is in the right order, for example, or in general, are these the right flavors for this new family kind of stuff, to just make sure get the box a little smaller. Yep.
Yeah, it's an excellent point about kind of like the scale of an operation. You've got different risks that you're willing to take, and different things that can happen if there's a miss. Yeah, that's cool. Did you want to add anything on? You did.
You often don't get it right first time, so we still do. We're still cautious as we launch and learn. We're iterating the product in the first 6 months very much. But like Neil said, I guess with Fairlife at the moment, we've got so much demand for what we have that we've actually retracted back what we're doing. And we have a platform with the protein. So really it is about just refining flavors and things like that when we do it. If we're trying to launch something very new, then we really spend a lot of time on how is this going to be different, sustainably different, because it's just, and the product, Tim, our CEO, and Shaquille, we all still get in the kitchen and we taste it. And I did notice when I came into Fairlife, it was only about 5 years ago, the level of scrutiny we put on the flavor and the taste and the mouthfeel is like way above any other food processor I'd work with. So that's just, if we don't like it, go back to the drawing board.
Damn good chocolate milk. Fair
Yeah?
enough.
Yeah, I'll second that. Yeah. Yeah, that's great to hear that everybody's still kind of maintaining that investment in the product as if they were still a family-driven operation. Although I'm just envisioning your employees just out of college, so excited to have a C-suite kind of guy come down with their tasting spoon. Oh, yay, they're here. But that is fantastic. I really think that's great. And it speaks to kind of the personal element of dairy as well.
And it's food, right? We're not designing shoes or batteries or something. It's something you're going to consume, and it's going to become part of your body, and it's a different category altogether than all other CPG or what have you. So I think you can tell when that human aspect is there. I can tell Fairlife has that part of them. I'm sure your products are very, very clear that the love is there. And we hope, like with Chobani, you can taste there's passionate people behind, almost like a chef. It's very quick in a restaurant to connect to the chef. Doing that at scale in a CPG is hard, but I think it's there, yeah, for sure. Yep.
Super. I think several of you have alluded to what happens when it doesn't land, that kind of a thing. So what does happen when a beautifully innovative new dairy product just doesn't land? What do you learn from those experiences to make the next new product more likely to hit the shelves and bring in revenue? I love to hear about the juicy failures.
Yeah, we've got the opposite failures. It's funny because we've launched, similar to you guys, in the creamer space. Coffee creamer is a $5-6 billion mega category in the US. It's growing significantly as all coffee things grow right now. All aspects of coffee are up. Creamers are way up. But when you go into that space, 80% of it is oil-based. There's no cream in it whatsoever. When you tell consumers that, half of them don't care, but the other half, and maybe half of those, you can actually move. And when you're talking $5-6 billion space, that's a large opportunity. So we've done well in creamers. I know you guys have struggled in creamers. We've tried to get into the Fairlife ultra-filtered milk. Disaster. We're out of it. We pulled out. So yeah, it's painful. It's expensive. We're quick to move on to the next thing, which is a little bit of a problem too, where we just stop talking about it and go to the next thing. But you definitely take, like for example, on UF milk or products like that, the big lesson there was really the economics of it. We're so tight, as all things in a gable top are. We realized how finicky that was, and our issue was related to the sudden inflation that happened a few years ago. That's what got us, and we weren't tight enough on the economics, where in yogurt it's a little more margin to work with. In fluid, it's super tight, and we weren't sharp enough. So you definitely take these lessons and apply them next, but you do have to move on. Yeah.
I think that's a good point. So there's been lots of learnings, and going back before my time, Tim, our CEO, is hell-bent on we will own our manufacturing assets, because he started trying to co-pack stuff and he couldn't make any money.
Right.
So that's one big learning, and we'll continue to do that. We launched creamers and we launched lactose-free milk. We didn't put enough dollars behind it. Generally speaking, we feel pretty comfortable at Fairlife. We can make a great product, but unless you're going to really flood it and pay for it, you're probably not going to get there at what we're looking for. Just we have so much valuable line time, we can't be making small runs of stuff. So we're trying to balance scale and efficiency.
It's that marketing support, right?
That's
marketing actually spend, the big one, because as a food developer, you're not really obsessed with but you realize suddenly you have too many mouths to feed in terms of product platforms, and you got to get the products live or die very quickly in retail at this scale. The customer's deciding maybe in sometimes 3 months whether you're on the upswing or the downswing.
Yeah.
So the amount of dollars you have to push to get the awareness, to get the trial going really quickly is tough, because you have other things, things in the yogurt going on you need to support. So, people like us, we're not spending, $100 million in marketing where a Danone is. So yeah, the marketing is often the tricky part, and the trial driving, yeah.
Yeah, let's pivot a little bit more about that, and I'm curious about all scales of sales in this regards. Thinking more about the consumer, what kind of customer discovery process goes into launching a new product or innovating a new product? And as we all know, the customer is not just kind of me at the store on the weekend. It's the distribution centers. It's maybe Marriott. It's lots of different kind of elements of who can be a customer. So yeah, tell me about customer discovery. How does that work for you? At the dinner table, of course.
So our customer is actually the weekend mom who comes to our stores, who wants to visit to the farm and see where their milk comes from. They want to see the cows on pasture and that the farmer is happy and providing you with a nutritious product. So we do target those, we call them our weekend moms, who are wanting to provide their family with the highest quality foods. So we really thrive off of our communities. All of our marketing is simply Facebook and Instagram ads, and we've worked with different marketing groups to help with that because we're farmers and we're not that great on technology. And we really owned that when we opened our store during COVID, and it was great. People couldn't get into the grocery stores to buy their products as well, or they were having logistic issues where ours wasn't even going off the farm, so they knew that they could come and get what they needed. So ours is truly small scale, but that's honestly where we want to be. We want to just provide enough consumers, which is our community, with products to make our two farms continue to go into the future.
And I would bet that the purchase experience is part of the experience as well, right? I know that as a mother of 2 young kids during COVID, agritainment was a big part of our day. So that's great.
Yeah, we did quite a bit of questioning of consumers up front. We're always sort of doing that.
Yeah.
We're always trying to understand, and we analyse a lot of why people buy our products, and then we design around that. We do a lot of internal taste testing and product development, and then we'll put it out to the business and try that. But ultimately we'll go to consumer testing, and then if we feel like it's got enough legs, then like I said, we'll go to other groups. We've done test markets, but we'll just launch in this state and see how it goes once we get to a certain level of confidence. So we don't really just go across the board. It's still a step-by-step gaining confidence approach.
And it's such a big market here, so many people in different, consumer segments would be the technical marketing term, but it's become really important where no matter what category you're looking at, how you chop the consumers up, not necessarily by demos, but more behavior. You talk about something like protein. Within the protein world, there are gym rats, there are on-the-go fueling busy types, busy moms or people like us on the go that just want something, not pizza, and they're trying to avoid a negative. There's medically influenced people where the doctor's saying you need to eat this. Maybe it's someone later in life who needs to get their protein intake up for maintaining muscle. There's value purchasers who are using it as a meal replacement because it's $3 versus a meal that's not. So even within something like protein, there's all these segments, and they're large. It's not like you're slicing and dicing it too much. These are still, segments that are larger than a lot of countries in Europe. So they're real. So I think what we've learned is, okay, who are we talking to here? Rather than a shotgun approach, you get a little more laser as you go, and then you can drill in. What are they looking for exactly? And is it actually 2 different products? Maybe this one product can't talk to all these. We do have to slice it. How many times do we slice, and how do we differentiate it to speak to them more sharply? So that consumer segmentation has become bigger to us, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And I can see that with the kind of diversification of new products as well. It expands into new segments that maybe 5-10 years ago weren't present. So that's exciting.
Yeah, like yogurt right now looks very chopped up.
Yeah.
You have Greek, non-Greek, diet, probiotic, high protein, indulgent, zero sugar, Yeah, those are multi-billion-dollar spaces. So I would argue it's appropriately chopped up. But it is funny that yogurt of all categories is the most complex shelf in the entire grocery store. What?
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. But
Not that you come from a biased lens by any means. Yeah. But no,
it's too busy. But yogurt in 2000 was half the size. And now yogurt somehow has more variety than anywhere else in the store. It's way too much variety. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And maybe we're feeding that problem a little bit, but.
Keep giving us options. We don't mind. That's great. So I'm a big believer in, I teach and I run a research lab, and one thing we think about is how can we marry innovation and pragmatism, right? With any new technology development, new product innovation, because in our field, dairy food, it's low margin. Sometimes more than less, but it's low margin, but you gotta innovate and think outside of the box, or we're never gonna have these new ideas that are gonna open up, new segments of consumers to a product that maybe isn't on the face new. So I'm curious to know, from each of your perspectives, if there was no cost or technical limitation in product development, which of course there are many of both, what would be the cool new dairy product that you'd want to see on the shelves?
Like those little.
Shout it out if you want while we're in. Yeah, no, sorry.
You got any ideas? Those, those Sargento kind of cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one of those like on steroids, like a full-on tray of, we call them creations, but like you take just simple whole milk, maybe plain yogurt, and all the things you can do to it. And we have that like flip product where you is one sidecar and you dump on the dry ingredients. I'd like to see like 10 sidecars. You can customize.
Yeah, customization.
A palette,
Yeah.
a painter's palette of yogurt.
Yeah, that's cool. Why not?
I'm on a butter kick right now. The butter boards are becoming trendy, so that's maybe where I hopped on a little bit. But I think that's, the butter case has some potential for some innovation and different flavors and different packaging and ways to use it.
Totally.
I think that, some ideas around butter would be cool.
Butter's cool. Butter is cool. Yeah.
Well, just on that, I made a product many years ago in Australia, which was I blended 72% fat cream with 50% skim milk concentrate, and made this most indulgent double cream that you'd put on an apple cake, and
Oh, wow.
it was super rich and full of protein and everything. It was just milk on steroids. So maybe it's a little bit like Neil's idea there, but it could work, but it's very indulgent sort of restaurant type
Yeah.
product.
That's awesome. So we need some new technology development, don't we? Yeah. To that end, what an awkward pivot, right? We know all too well, right, that in food manufacturing, consumer understanding, perception, awareness, or knowledge around new technologies can make or break a new product. And I'm interested to know what the journey of a new technology or product category is and how that might marry with what consumers are ready to adopt or willing to adopt. Success stories are great and maybe easier. I don't mind the horror stories as well, just to learn about kind of what was a flop because of either a lack of translation of knowledge around a technology. Just how do we drive acceptability and willingness to pay for products manufactured with new technologies?
I would actually ask on the ultra filtered term is an interesting
talk about
question.
Successes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Do people? It seems like people at first it was scary and now it's sought after almost. That word ultra filtered.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. I was exactly thinking about that one. Just thinking back about the journey. I suppose it's that sort of. It's still the protein story. So I think it's based around something very solid. The technologies, they're ultra filtered. It sounds nice, but it's not a way out there sort of technology. I think if you started talking about hydrolysates and all this sort of stuff, then I think people start to get worried about,
Because it sounds too techy, or what do you think it is?
And yeah,
right?
what are you doing with my milk type
Yeah.
of thing? So it's sort of interesting that the ultra filtered thing hasn't been so controversial. It's a nice sounding thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, people want protein and it tastes awesome. So, and there's a lot of things that goes on into a Fairlife bottle of drink that just makes it taste better. So, it all comes together. But you just can't talk too much about the technology, I don't think.
Well, that's got to be a part of the balancing act, right? Is like, if it's going to taste fantastic, then we're less concerned about, maybe if there might be an issue with technology.
Fairlife isn't about the technology. I can't comment about the ultra filtered thing. I know that we did a lot of work a lot of that was more for other reasons. at the end of the day, it's an enabler of delivering what the consumer needs, which is more protein, less lactose, great flavour. I don't think you don't sell the technology, you sell what it gives
the product.
What it delivers to the product. And you've got to focus on that all the time.
Makes me think of Greek yogurt.
Yep.
You know, sounds a lot better than strained yogurt, which is maybe the insider's term. Strained is not a great marketing term. In the early days, we would get a lot of Greeks reaching out. You bastards aren't from Greece. Or, hey, man, we're not saying we are. In fact, we're from Turkey. So that was a funny moment. They said, you have to call it Greek style. We're, sure. We're not really trying to trick people thinking it's from Greece, literally.
Right.
But those words do really matter. How you explain, the words on pack to us, the sensory kind of comes naturally, I think, to people like us, food developers. But the hierarchy of words and the words you use and what words you don't. We were talking before about Fairlife. I always found it interesting. High protein, low sugar, super clear.
Yeah.
Never a lot about no lactose, even though it is no lactose. And you were saying it's too much information. That makes sense to me, Yeah. So there's so much more to say. It goes back to that DMI thing. Like, it's a trap, though, at the same time, because you ask people what's in milk, and they can't really articulate much. They can't tell you by any means how much protein is just naturally in milk. But at the same time, if you try to tell them a lot, they're going to walk away and disengage. So that's where we like to study with consumers and show them artwork. We do more of that than taste this. What do you think? That more comes from our souls. But what do you think how we're saying this is something we increasingly are testing because it's so subjective and you need opinions. Yeah. Especially the technical. Yeah.
I was just thinking back. I think we probably wouldn't talk too much about technology unless it's got a specific purpose. So we've always been up against powdered, reconstituted protein powder type drinks. So we've spent a lot of time trying to explain that it comes fresh off the farm and it's soft filtered and goes in to differentiate ourselves against the alternative, not to sell.
You're reversing it. Yeah.
It's almost like, if there was nothing else on the market, I think we would just say, well, high protein.
Right.
And, so.
Yeah, it was to distinguish yourself from the competitor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, I think we're coming close to the end. Have there been any questions coming in online or from the room here?
I can give you one to wrap things up.
Great.
Where do you see the dairy industry going in the next 10 years?
Yeah, milk consumption's this behavior is down, except for Fairlife. But dairy consumption, when you actually drill into it, is way up. Whether it's cheese or ice cream, yogurt has gone through a tear like none other in the last 10 years, still growing. You look at household penetration of a lot of stuff, like especially what I know, yogurt, still quite low. Everyone always says, oh, the Europeans eat 6 times more yogurt. When you go into the numbers, it's actually that parts of the U.S. do eat like Europeans. I mean, how much yogurt are we supposed to eat here? But you go into other parts and it's fully disengaged. So on average, it looks like consumption is low, but the actual behavior is that some are fully in and then some are completely out. So on average, it's deceptive. So we just look at, okay, that's a lot of households not in. That's a lot of young families who aren't giving yogurt to their kids. So it appears like there's still a lot of room to go on especially these kind of more value-added cultured dairy products. And I also, we see a lot of, like, for example, Tillamook is suddenly showing up on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Damn good ice cream.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And it does seem like a premiumization is afoot in certain dairy categories, like ice cream,
Yeah.
Yep. And then, like, I think Fairlife's is the classic example of, that is a high value added product and consumers are willing to pay for it, yet the store brand gallons are declining. So it's interesting. It's kind of like there's no ground in the middle left. It's either a very affordable in bulk, or it's quote unquote premium value proposition. But the middle is tough. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Kara, what about from the kind of cottage dairy industry? I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but yeah.
I think that the dairy industry is going to continue to become diverse in the products that are available to consumers in terms of like the niche marketing. Our milk is A2A2, which is, you might be familiar with the A2 Milk Corporation. You know, we're finding more out about milk, and I think that, you know, everybody is always looking for their niche or how they can have a space on the shelf with the bigger guys. So I think that, you know, what we're going to see in the rural areas or at the local stores is, you know, more niche opportunities. I think that the smaller guys are getting help from organizations like this and having different opportunities, and farmers are becoming, you know, more aware of what they need to do to sell more milk or to help position their farm a little bit better. So I think that really it's going to become more niche, and you're going to have more options at the shelf.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. Well, thank you all. Thank you all for joining me in this conversation today. Thank you all, many of you whom I'm sure are just on pins and needles waiting for those judges to finish deliberating. It was really cool, innovative stuff that we heard today, both from the Dairy Innovation and from the Grow New York finalists. So I can't think of a better way to say thank you, and yeah, have a great rest of the afternoon. Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, Kara, Nicholas, Neil, Judy, Marla, and the Dairy Innovation Competition winners. Dairy farming, as you know, is near and dear to my heart, and I really enjoyed learning more about recent innovations. The Dairy Innovation Program is currently accepting applications for the spring cohort of the Dairy Runway program. The program welcomes up to 12 early-stage dairy innovators to participate in a virtual course focused on product concepts and customer discovery. This program is free and open to all dairy innovators. So the way that you get involved is to visit dairyinnovation.org. So it's dairyinnovation, all one word, .org, or scan the QR code on the screen for more information. So now what's coming up next is that we will head to a short break. If you are enjoying coffee and snacks here in Binghamton, don't forget to compost your food scraps. Composting services for the summit are brought to you by Casella Waste Management Systems. So, very short break, and we'll see you right back here in 5 minutes.
Very short.